Hey guys, as you can tell by the title of the video, this is dedicated to my Uncle Hank, who, excuse me, who sadly passed away this evening. What happened today was my mom and I were downstairs in the kitchen. It was around, I want to say it was around 5:15 this evening, where his sister called us and basically said that he has passed on. What's been going on basically is for the last couple of months, or maybe as far as late 2014, he was being taken care of over in Brooklyn, and we would go. My mom and I would go see him usually when I was off from work, and we would always we go to see him, ask him how he's doing, talk with him, things like that, like the usual stuff we would do, and things are going pretty well, and then I'm going to say it was kind of around this month where, no, this is early March. I'm going to say within February. I don't know the exact date, but within February, we kind of had a feeling things were going to go downhill, and unfortunately, they did start to, and then this evening is when he passed on. Now, even though this wasn't really fully unexpected, so to say, anytime you lose a family member, regardless of it being expected or not, it's not easy. It's tough. And, usually what I do in other videos, like I say, is remember the good times. What I can say about Uncle Hank is he wasn't biologically an uncle, okay? But he was part of the family that my mom was adopted to years ago, and he basically as a result was one of the family. I mean, my brother and I would refer to him as Uncle Hank because that's basically what it was. He was always again, he was one of the family, always happy to see us, things like that. So you can kind of see where that title, if that's the right term to use, he deserved it pretty much. um One of the things that I remember about him rather was he was a regular guest here for special occasions like Thanksgiving dinner in particular. I know he was always excited to show up for that. He would also show up for events such as like Christmas parties or our pool parties we'd have in the summer in the backyard. He also occasionally, I think, showed up for a couple of birthdays and things like that. And he was always good. He was always good to have around. He would always talk to us. He'd have plenty to talk about, especially when my grandparents were still around on both sides, my mom and my dad's side. He would always talk with them, have great conversations and everything. And even over the last few years, I talked with him a lot more about things. I'll get more into that a little bit later. Um, my parents always remind me about times when I was a kid where I would always, um, I'd always, I'm laughing about it just thinking about it. I don't say this in a disrespecting manner or anything, but like he had a stomach that was on the larger side, and as a kid, I'd always point at it and and I'd say, "Uncle Hank, what's in there?" Things like that. Now, of course, I was a kid at the time, so you don't realize exactly, you shouldn't ask stuff like that. So it was a kid being innocent, just things like that. Um, and one of the things I kind of wish I did, not really as a kid, because kids don't talk to adults too much. I mean, any kid can speak for that. Um, One of the things I kind of wish I did more often, especially when I was a teenager, was I wish I was more sociable with people. When I was at least until I was 18, when I was a teenager, I really wasn't very sociable with people that I didn't know. Well, I mean, I knew who Uncle Hank was, obviously, but I wasn't very sociable with people who I either didn't know or I didn't talk to regularly. That was something that really, really took me a while to get out of, especially if they were an adult. If they were around my age, it was a little bit easier, but it still took some time. But anyway, um, but after that, I talked to him more. He asked me about stuff like how am I doing, and how's school going, things like that. And he would also in recent times he would also ask about how's my brother, my sister-in-law, my niece, things like that. And one of the things that he always used to do that was pretty funny was I'm the tallest person in the household. I'm 6'1", and he would always, as a joke, he would call me things like stretch, things like that, or he would tell my parents stuff like what are you feeding him, stop feeding him, things like that, just making fun of my height all the time, like any funny family member would do. And it's times like that. It's times like that I remember about him, which is good, which helps keep things in a happier mood, so to say. And you know, one of the biggest changes that's really gonna take effect, so to say, is aside from him not being here anymore, is we're gonna have one less person at those Thanksgiving dinners and things like that, and special occasions, whatever they may be. Um, I'll definitely miss his sense of humor that he had. His how much he enjoyed cracking jokes here and there, and whenever he would talk about stuff. And that's always one. It's always one of the things I like about some family members. When they have, when they're a good person, of course, but when they also have like a sense of humor and things like that, it really makes them that much more memorable in a positive way. He always had something funny to say, whether it be about me or even about when we had Stripes and Whiskers back when. He would even talk about them and things like that, and sometimes he'd pet them and things like that. Sorry if I'm repeating myself again. Again, even though this wasn't really unexpected, it's tough. It really, like anything else, when it comes to the death of people, it takes time. It really does take time. But the good news is there really wasn't any suffering. It was very, quiet, so to say, and like I'm doing right now. I'm always going to remember the good times about him. For years and years and years. And that's really the best you can do. Just remember the good times you had with him, what you enjoyed, and that helps keep things a little bit better in these situations. But overall, we're doing okay. It's unfortunate. We're kind of down about it, but overall, we're doing okay. I'm just again, I'll just keep. It's just going to be very weird not having that regular guest at those occasions and such. But he was a great guy. Always enjoyed talking with us and his jokes and other things. Whatever it could be. And I'm definitely going to miss those. But I'll definitely remember all the great times I had with him, and that's what I got to keep doing. So. Not sure what else to say about this, guys. It's unfortunate. They happen, and the best thing you can do is just remember everything that was positive and just keep going on. So that's what we're gonna do. Uncle Hank was a great guy, and I'm gonna miss the stuff that I'm gonna miss everything, but I'm also gonna remember all the good things. So that's what you got to do. So. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you around. Okay, I hope this wasn't too much of a sad video for you guys, but it's just one of those things. But he's a great guy, and I'm always going to remember him. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you later. Okay, take care.